Hey.
Hell, Mike. First of all, everybody watching this, sorry for the long absence. It's been 6 months since we last posted an interview.
Yeah.
I don't know, we kind of burned out after that whole Holtzman thing, and we needed a break. So we took it, we're re energized, my hair is grown back up, we're still in quarantine in 2025. Apparently, this is never gonna fucking end.
No.
Anyway, what's up, Mike? How you doing?
I'm doing good. This break was well needed.
Rested. So, I brought somebody back for this one today.
Who'd you get?
I actually pulled some strings, called our friends there are the Blockbuster Video Trivia Faceplex Metal League, and borrowed a champion for you guys, Mr. Jakey Seven Belts.
What's up? I'm Jake Seven Belts. I'm pretty cool, you know. Who am I kidding? I'm here to have fun. What is this? What am I, Chance Ellison?
Fair. I think you've never seen the guy's eyes.
That's fair.
So, are you excited? Have you seen our show, or you're just coming in blind like most people?
I would say I'm a dedicated fan of the video store. Okay, I pay attention to the highly original shows that you have on this channel. Okay, I did my research and I'm looking forward to this. This is gonna be fun. Honestly, I'm like I'm at the edge of my seat.
Excellent.
Don't fall off.
So, let's get this show on the road. First question. What's the movie or movie moment that started your love for movies?
This was tough because it's like, where do you really go with the question? And I was thinking, I almost was going to go with Ratatouille on this one. Like, the last 30 minutes of that movie is just so... That's what I really realized, that films can have like a meaning to it. But what I'm going with is... That's the movie that made me realize that films can be weird. Like, really kind of like shaped who I became with my taste in film. And I'm going with Donnie Darko. Specifically just the movie in general. And one of my all-time favorite movies, that was kind of the film that made me see films in a different perspective.
But in this one first.
That's Ratatouille. Hell yeah. Ratatouille. The last 30 minutes of Ratatouille is just incredible to me. Like when Remy gets all of his all the rats to help him cook in the kitchen, and then he serves Anton Ego the Ratatouille. All that is just pure movie magic. And then when Ego's reading his review, it's just so good. Just the way everything is, just a whole monologue about being an artist and criticism and all that sort of stuff. It's like deeply moving, and watching it as a kid made me kind of like almost mature in a sense. And that's why I've always looked back at Ratatouille as my favorite Pixar film. But with Donnie Darko, it's like I've never seen a film like Donnie Darko before. I liked action movies and animated movies when I was young. And then when I got into high school, and then I was in 9th grade, I was really starting to get into the weirder stuff. 10th grade, I think, and like Donnie Darko was just like a movie that made me see films in like a different perspective. Like, films don't have to be like the same 3-act structure. Like, it can really go out and be weird. That's why I really appreciate Donnie Darko.
I was, I think, in the middle of college when Donnie Darko came out, and I went to see it with my wife. It was my girlfriend at the time. And when I came out of it, she was like, "What?" And I was like, "But, huh?" And she's like, "Nah." And then I bought the Blu-ray, the DVD back then, and we rewatched it. And then after we rewatched it, she was just like, "Yeah, nope." But I loved it. I actually really like this weird stuff. I was really into David Lynch at the time, and I think this movie kind of evocates some of those abstract ideas too. Too bad Richard Kelly never made any other movie that was worth anything after this.
Not yet. Southland Tales is not good, and I've not seen the box.
I've seen the box. I kind of prefer the Twilight episode short version because to make it feature length for such a simple story, they added a bunch of unnecessary shit that
Yeah.
kind of ruined it. But still, I think it's worth one watch. Mike,
Yeah, that's fair.
Donnie Darko.
Donnie Darko is amazing. I love Donnie Darko. It's so fucking wacky. I can't get enough of it. I have the Blu-ray. I watch it every
fucking
couple of
yeah.
years. I'll put it on and just watch the shit out of it because it's so fucking batshit nuts. My type of movie.
It's a perfect fucking movie.
You know that
That's what I would say. That's my review.
now that you mentioned Southland Tales, I always remember the one scene where the one truck fucks the other truck.
Yeah, the ad for the I think it's like they have like some new petrol or something.
Yeah.
Like it's like the ocean currents are powering like the energy. It's like a new fuel or something. And there's an
Yeah.
ad where you see a car humping like it's just that. But it's satire. It's American satire, I guess so. Man, it's a very weird movie. We like Donnie Darko, but it feels like it just didn't have any.
I think
What's
it needed
the
more.
first movie you remember seeing in theaters?
Let me just look at what I wrote because I had to look at what I wrote. So this is an interesting question because like I can definitely think of like a couple of movies that I remember watching in theaters. I have vague memories of watching Attack of the Clones. Like I only remember like certain details, but the one film that I remember watching beginning to end, remembering most details, like remember the entire experience, and a film that I actively enjoyed was Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
So I saw a bunch of movies before that, but the one that I just remember as a kid and just having like an amazing experience was watching Spider-Man 2 because I love the Spider-Man movie. I will be talking about it a lot, and I've always talked about it. It's just amazing. You'll get videos from me, I tell you, all the time. But I just was super hyped going into Spider-Man 2. I remember seeing the ads, and Doc Ock's one of my favorite Spider-Man villains, and I remember going to the movies to see another movie. I don't remember what the hell it was. It wasn't that good. But seeing the teaser poster of Spider-Man 2, not that one. It was like the big one of his head, and then in the eye reflection, you see Doc Ock, and I'm just like in my mind going, "Holy shit!" Like just the concept of a sequel. Just like this is the first time I was seeing it. Like 2 is in the title. Like that was such a new idea to see. And I was fucking hyped, and I just remember watching it and thinking everything is awesome. Everything made sense. It was just so good. And there's a lot of like adult themes in the movie. Peter losing his powers and all that sort of shit. And I just remember like understanding what was going on. That poster is so fucking cool. I really like that teaser. That's maybe my favorite teaser poster, honestly. Just it tells you everything that you need to know. It's the sequel, and Doc Ock's in it, and he's gonna fight Spider-Man. That's awesome. That's the shit I live for. So yeah.
This is actually a very good movie. For a while, I think it had a solid case to being the best comic book adaptation ever made. I think it was pretty much until the MCU came along. Maybe The Dark Knight, but The Dark
I
Knight
think
has.
Dark Knight is the big one.
I think The Dark Knight has its detractors and stuff. I actually personally like Batman Begins better, but that's just a preference thing. But yeah, this movie is actually it's so weird because Spider-Man, the first Raimi movie is a good movie. I've always felt it's a good movie. Some people think it's okay. Then this one, it's a fucking great movie. Like it's going straight up, and then just fell off a cliff.
This movie makes House Party look like House Party 2.
Yeah.
This is the movie.
And Spider-Man 3 makes House Party 2 look like House Party.
Yes. That's good. That's a valid point.
Mike, why do you hate Spider-Man?
This is actually my favorite Spider-Man movie. I love the shit out of this movie. I see. This is the thing. I enjoy the third Spider-Man movie. Do I fucking love it? No, but I enjoy it for what it is. But the first two Spider-Man movies,
definitely doesn't like it.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. The first two Spider-Man movies I fucking love. The Tobey Maguire Spider-Man is fucking amazing. He is my favorite fucking Spider-Man, actually. And
Really?
this movie without, yeah. Oh yeah, no, he is my
yeah.
fucking favorite Spider-Man because he's the ultimate geeky motherfucker. Even though he looks like he's
Yeah.
50, he's still the ultimate geek.
Maybe he was slow. He needed to do like high school like 20 times.
That's why he's super smart, 'cause he's done high school so many times.
I can say that out of even though Tobey Maguire is not my favorite Spider-Man, I think that out of the Peter Parker movies, this is probably the best Peter Parker film. But I mean, Spider-Verse is just like so. Yeah,
I like
something else.
Spider-Verse, but I always have a soft spot for like the Raimi trilogy.
Yeah.
Fair. If you could pick one movie from any era to be able to watch in theaters, which movie would you choose?
I've always wanted to watch The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly on a theater, on a, you know, in your the best quality you can, you know, your IMAX equivalency on the big screen. I think would be incredible, just because just the amount of wide shots and landscape that Sergio Leone just captures on film is just so like he's a master at that. He's a master of doing the long shots and the extreme close-ups, and I just would love to see like a western with that like grand style, that epic style, and for such a simplistic story of three guys trying to find gold. I think it's just a great contrast with the way it looks, and it feels like an epic story. And I think just having the experience to see it, and also with the music as well, like Ennio Morricone's music is fucking phenomenal. It is just one of the best scores ever. So to have that cinema experience, the auditory and visual experience just would be insane. So I would like just love to see The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. I mean, anything's possible. I definitely think that that's a movie that could for sure be played at a cinema. But yeah, I definitely would be down for that.
Is this your favorite of the No Name trilogy?
Absolutely, yeah.
I actually haven't seen the first for A Fistful of Dollars. That one I have not.
That one's pretty good. That one's basically a remake of Kurosawa's. I'm gonna get it wrong.
And Paul's gonna kill you.
You know what? I don't know Kurosawa, so I'm just not gonna say it.
Yeah, my dad used to do this a lot when I was a kid. He got movies that were not the original movies, and he just like brought in sequels to the house, and he was like, "Hey, you wanna watch this with me, guys?" I was like, "Cool. What are we watching? For a few dollars more. Cool." That was great. He's like, "Yeah, but there's another one before it. It's actually pretty good too." I was like, "Why do you do this to me?" He made me watch Ghostbusters 2 before Ghostbusters. He made me watch Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade as the first fucking indie movie.
Wow, that's like a good one to watch. Is like the third one with like his dad and all that.
Yeah.
It's like, Nazari, hey, do you want to go watch Godfather Part 2? It's like, wait, Part 2? We'll watch Part 1 later. We'll watch the first one later. You know,
he never picked movies. He never picked movies with numbers. I think he knew it would like tip me off. He's always Ghostbusters 2 has been the exception, but after I saw that one, I was like, okay, fine. It's gonna trick me every single time. Like, you like spaghetti westerns?
I've seen these three like when I was in high school, and for some reason I never really cared for Clint Eastwood, so it never really connected with me. And I saw him a couple years ago, and I liked him a bit better, but again, I wasn't the biggest fan. But I actually am planning on trying to watch him again in the next couple of coming months, so maybe it'll change. They are very well made movies, so I'll give them that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Help me out with a trivia question, Jake. Which of the three is the one that Biff is watching in Back to the Future Part 2?
It's a Fistful of Dollars, the first one.
Cool. That's why I keep missing that fucking question. Okay.
And if you were mistaken, the ugly is Chris Stoneman. Just to help everyone out, because I know like Eli Wallach says he's the ugly. It's actually Chris Stoneman. I mean, we didn't know until that training.
Question 4: did you get to experience physical movie rentals?
I was lucky enough at the tail end of physical movie rentals to experience it as a kid. So I'm very grateful with that experience to be able to go to the movie movie store and rent out some movies for the weekend. Yeah, I have fond memories of that sort of stuff when I was 6, 7, growing up.
So,
I was lucky because go on.
did you guys have Australian blockbusters?
Hell yeah, we had Blockbuster Video. They were here to make a difference. We all said, "Wow, what a difference!"
So, what was your favorite video store then?
So, I mean, Blockbuster. So there were 2 video stores that were not far from where I live. The one was like a couple-minute drive. There's one Australian one called Video Easy, spelled video and then EZY. That one, I think there was one store in Perth, from where I'm from. A bunch of them I know are closed down. And then there was one just a little further out, which was Blockbuster, and those are the 2 I would always go to. And I would spend a lot of my time just going on the weekend or whatever, and just looking at all the movies and just seeing what they had. And you remember the movie Thunderpants
No.
No.
with Rupert Grint, Ron Weasley?
Oh wait. Is it the kids movie?
It's a kids movie about a guy that can't
seen the
stop
cover.
farting.
I've never seen it, but I've seen the cover.
It's about a boy who can't stop farting. He has 2 stomachs, and that's the entire movie. And I just remember always seeing that movie at the store and never renting it. And my mum would always laugh when she read the title, like Thunderpants, and I would just would just want to stay away. Like I've seen enough. I don't need to watch the movie. And that always just always been like the back of my head every time I would go to the video store. So that's one specific film I remember always seeing.
I actually did that when I was in college. I had this weird schedule during the first year and a half, where I had like classes at 7:15 a.m. until about 9 a.m. and then I didn't have more classes until 11 a.m. until 2 p.m. So it was like 2 blocks of classes, but I had this weird 2-hour gap in the middle. So what I did was that every day I just walked out of the university, get into a public bus, 3 stops away, there was a Blockbuster Video, and then spend an hour and a half just walking around. Since I went so often, I rarely rented it, just like 2 or 3 times a week. But the guy started actually knowing me by name and everything. It's like, hey, what are you doing? No classes today? I was like, cool. Yeah, just walking around. And you know that the clerks at those stores usually like come at you and recommend stuff and discuss things.
Yeah.
These guys
Are you having any problems
in there.
all this sort of stuff? Yeah.
They didn't even recommend anything anymore. They were just like, this is what we got new. Do you care for any of this? If not, just go walk around, dude. Now you see what you want to do. It's a great experience that I kind of miss a lot, actually, because I don't know, the feeling that you're having everything for streaming and yet at the same time not having anything is weird.
Yeah.
Because, like, sometimes you want to watch something in particular and then you Google it and no one is streaming it and you kind of get like, and even though there's a million other things to watch, I'm an old dinosaur. That's what I like. So it's good.
Yeah.
All right. So what was the first movie you chose to rent by yourself? Now, I mean, with your own money, when you would go to Nazario's grandma's house and mow her lawn, she'd give you a quarter.
Boom.
So movie that I had to rent by myself. So I wrote a couple movies down. I think. So this is not the next question. This is just, hey, Mum, can I want to rent this out. Yeah. Okay. I was a little older, but this is one that I specifically remember, just the experience of wanting to watch it. So my mom had a DVD of Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines. That was the first Terminator film I saw. Apparently, my mum may have been Nazario's dad at some point. Just a conspiracy theory. So I remember watching the shit ton out of Rise of Machines. And so when I go to the video store and I see there's a Terminator 2, Judgment Day, I have to check this out. So I asked, Mom, can I watch this? And my mom does not give a shit about violence and all that sort of stuff. I'm like 7, 8.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, hey, can I watch this? And she's like, Absolutely. Like my mom is kind of like the reason why I've got like into films. Like she'll let me just watch a lot of stuff, and this is one she's like, you have to watch this. Like you like action movies, and so I just remember saying, hey, I would pick out this, and my brother would pick out like Madagascar or something, like some animated movie, and I'm like, I'm watching this shit, and yeah. So this poster is also up in my in the upstairs theater room in my house. So we have this like framed with a bunch of other posters, and this is like such a good teaser. This just gets you ready for the sequel.
When I went to the theater to watch Beauty and the Beast, I think it was, they put a trailer for this thing. It was because in Panama they don't do like the trailers are trailers. Doesn't matter if you're watching a cartoon or if you're watching an art movie. You get every trailer of everything that's coming. So they had this teaser trailer that it was like the skeleton, I think, and the machine just like closes in on him and then retreats, and there's Schwarzenegger out with the red eye.
Oh yeah.
It was a very like
they filmed, yeah.
There was a lot of fire, I remember. The thing is, I watched that, and my dad was like, he almost stood up from his chair, like, "Fuck yeah!" And I was like, "What's happening?" He's like, "Terminator 2, man. I've been waiting for this for like 10 years." And I was like, "Okay." He's like, "You haven't seen Terminator 1?" I'm like, "No, I'm 10." He's like, "Cool. We'll watch it when we get home." We get home, it's Terminator, and I'm like digging the whole thing. I was like, "Damn, cyborgs attacking humans. This is great." And suddenly,
metal people,
sex scene, and I'm like, "Okay, boobs." And my dad is like, "Oh shit, I forgot about this. Close your eyes for like 5 minutes."
Yeah, it took me a while to see the Terminator. I had to wait a bit until I saw the first one. I think I was like 10, 11. Like I'd already seen 3 and 2. And I think Salvation was coming out around that point. So Mom was like, "Hey, you can watch Terminator." I think that was one of the first films I saw with boobs in it. So that definitely I remember that experience.
Mike, what do you hate Schwarzenegger?
I do not hate Schwarzenegger, and I actually watched this in the theater when I was like 4 or 5 years old. And I love the shit out of this movie. This
is a quintessential 5 stars movie by Mike Hanley. Like this.
Oh yeah, it's a great.
Am I not wrong from that? Like this is like the pinnacle of the 5-star rating.
Yeah, this was a fucking great fucking movie. I love the shit out of it. Watched it so many times as a little kid.
I know a lot of people that want to make the case for the original Terminator as the best of the franchise, but honestly, I think. It's one of those things like Evil Dead 2. Like sometimes you just gotta admit to yourself that the sequel is better than the original. I honestly think this is the top of the Terminator 3. Like it never got as good as this one, and I don't think it ever will.
Yeah, I don't think anything will touch it in the Terminator franchise.
No, for sure. Just let it die. That thing sucked. Just let it die.
Who's your favorite?
Are we missing one? Well, didn't we do movies you rented?
Yeah, you rented Terminator. This was it.
Yeah, we just talked about it.
With your own money, or is that?
That was the question.
That's what we asked you. You said Terminator.
I thought it was 2 different questions. My bad.
You gotta go back.
That I got from Mike Hanley. The doc that I got from Mike Hanley had, what's the first movie you rented with? First movie you chose to rent by yourself, and first movie you rented with your own money. I got 2 different questions. Okay, I came prepared.
Okay.
It's not my fault. It's the producer.
It's the same question, but that was if you said no to if you experienced movie rentals. That's what happened. We forgot to put if no.
Those are the questions that this so far have not been used, by the way. Cool.
Sweet. All right.
What's your favorite?
It's how is it not Willem Dafoe? I mean, that's really like saying that. Willem Dafoe is he's such a unique actor. My picks for actor and actress are very similar in the sense that they're able to like juggle between making mainstream like Hollywood movies and then like the independent foreign like art films, and like they're able to just appear in both, and they don't feel like out of place in either category of like films. So like Willem Dafoe will appear in, he'll appear in, where's his face? Look at that man. That's a good. You got a GIF. That's great. But he'll appear in Spider-Man, like probably one of my favorite performances by any actor. Like there's him as the Green Goblin. He's so like incredible and amazing in that, and does exactly what he needs to do to make that performance amazing. And then he'll appear in like shit like Mr. Bean's Holiday and Platoon. Mr. Bean's Holiday. He should have been an Academy Award nomination for that performance. He plays like a pretentious director. It's so good. And then like Platoon and Mississippi Burning and like dramas, like the Oscar dramas and all that sort of stuff. And then like you go into the independent side, and he's appearing in The Lighthouse and Florida Project, and then At Eternity's Gate, and like he'll just be in both. He was in a film called Basquiat, the film about the painter, the artist, and David Bowie plays Andy Warhol in the movie. Like he'll just appear in just anything, and he just fits like any movie he's in. And like I just love like his insanity that he always puts into every one of his performances.
But was it a firefight?
That's a good reference. Yeah. Now him and Boondock Saints is pretty funny.
I actually think underrated in Antichrist, with Charlotte Gainsbourg.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And The Last Temptation of Christ. He plays one mean Jesus.
He plays the Jesus. Actually, no, he plays a Jesus. He doesn't play the Jesus.
What do you think about this man, Mike?
Oh no, he's a great fucking choice. One of my favorite performances is Shadow of a Vampire. I fucking love him in that. Yeah, he's fucking is amazing in that. But yeah, this is a great fucking choice.
You have Willem Dafoe and John Malkovich in the same movie. How can that not be like the most interesting thing ever? That's a great pick.
We like to sandwich it with who's your favorite actress?
So I had to think about this one for a little, but I'm going with the similar kind of like category as Dafoe, and
because you hate women.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. What have they done for us? I'm going with Oscar winner. In fact, I'm going with Tilda Swinton.
Ooh, okay.
She's kind of just similar to Dafoe in the sense that she can appear in, like Wes Anderson art films, and one of my favorite performances being her in, she plays 3 different characters in Suspiria from 2018. Like her performances in Luca Guadagnino's films, like that and A Bigger Splash, which I recently saw. She's just so phenomenal in Suspiria. Like the 3 different characters she plays, it's so good. And then she'll appear in just like Hollywood. That's a weird. What was that? What the hell is that? What are these photos you're choosing? Sorry, I'm starting to get nervous. I'm worried. But like then she'll appear in like Narnia and The Beach and Constantine and like Coen Brothers movies. Like she's just like another actor who's just so versatile. Like she'll really like dedicate to just playing the character. She puts like a lot of effort. There's one performance she did where she learned how to speak Russian and Italian, like for a role. She had never learned either of those languages. Like she's just so dedicated, and I just love her performances. Like she can be funny, she can be dramatic, she can be scary. She can just do like a lot, and that's what I really appreciate about her.
Tilda Swinton, it's a very interesting person. I remember when I started watching her movies, when she was like starting as an actress, she was kind of playing it a lot more straight. Like Vanilla Sky, Tilda Swinton is weird to watch because she's just being a normal person. She always finds a way to make things interesting. She picks whatever she needs to do the role better. Is it weird teeth? Is it like fake eyes? Is it like weird glasses or a bald head? Whatever. I have actually said at some point that she's like a female version of Johnny Depp. But I think that's kind of insulting because Johnny Depp has gone a little trash with his career by the end. I just think they both have like the same instinct to like, they read the page and they're like, how can I make this weird? And
how can they make this better?
But I think she has been much more successful at that than Johnny Depp. I actually
Yeah.
think she's a pretty great actress. And even though most people don't like the voyage of the Dawn Treader, I have to say that I appreciate the fact that she showed up for one scene as a green spirit version mimicking the White Witch, even though she probably didn't need to do that.
And she's also in Prince Caspian. Like she also is like,
Yeah,
even though
she's in
she's
all
her
three.
character's dead. Yeah, she's on
She's in
three,
all
but like
three.
her character died like in the first one.
Mike, Tilda Swinton, what do you got?
It's a great fucking choice. I love her in Snowpiercer. Snowpiercer
Oh,
is such a
yeah.
great fucking performance in it. And even Constantine. Even fucking
Yeah,
Constantine.
Constantine, which like she's playing like a character where you just don't know like which sex like Gabrielle's
Yeah.
supposed to be, like the androgynous type of characters. I think that's just like a lot of commitment, like dedication. Just like who cares? Like that's just so fascinating. But yeah, she's able to do that in like a comic book adaptation, and then like appear in a horror film where she plays three characters, one of them being a man.
That totally makes sense. You ask Jake for a woman and she picks somebody who's androgynous.
Great fucking choice.
I think I
That
kind
make
of
this
know
about
this one, but who's your favorite director?
Wait, who could it be? Who do you reckon it is? No, sorry. Are you waiting for me to say?
I'm already Googling.
Yeah, it's Michael Haneke for sure. I love this guy. He's a very interesting Austrian filmmaker. I just kind of love the way he's just able to tell a lot with very little. You watch Cachet and there's like very little violence and all of it is suggested, but then when violence is introduced into the movie, it's like the most horrific, realistic thing you could ever see. Hell yeah, that's an artist right there. Black and White. He loves yeah, White Ribbon is just so fascinating of a movie to check out. Yeah, but he's also like a perfectionist, and he just understands like what kind of films he wants to make and how he wants to present it, and every decision in the movie, it's like it's by him, and he just knows exactly what he wants to do. Well, that's when he won the Palme d'Or, which he's one of the few filmmakers to do that twice. Everyone check out Amore, which is probably his most mainstream of his like art films that he's done. Armor is incredible. Funny Games is fantastic. I think that one and Amor are like the two to get into. Funny Games is some good shit. Am I right, Mike?
Oh fuck yeah!
So
Both
you're saying that
adaptations of
Funny
Funny
Games is
Games,
not mainstream?
fucking
What?
amazing.
I mean, that's like his only English language film, and it has like Tim Roth and Naomi Watts, and they're giving like great performances. And
Michael
Michael
Pitt.
Pitt and Brady Corbett. I love Michael Pitt and Brady Corbett
Yeah.
just in general, but like them in that movie is also great. Yeah, but yeah, I would say just check out. Also, The Piano Teacher is probably his best film. But yeah, like he's just
Yeah,
has so many
that
like
is actually
meticulous
fact.
craft
That's
films.
a movie that it's undeniably great.
Oh
But the
yeah.
less you know about that one before you watch it, the better. It's one of those.
Yes.
So we're going to change it up a little bit because we like to change questions up. What's your favorite bad movie?
Man, I could just name you like 7 movies,
Can I Google
25
Scooby-Doo
movies.
right now?
It's not. I mean, I think Scooby Doo is fucking garbage. I hate that movie. There was like a couple of instances last year where I got really, really drunk. I don't want to watch that movie ever again now. Like I had my fun. Everybody saw the videos. I'm done. I don't want to just experience that ever again. I think in recent memory, my bad movie to go to is Venom.
Oh, okay.
It's just I'm like obsessed with Venom, and I don't know if there's something wrong with me. But I've already seen the film twice this season. This year season. I saw it 3 times last year. I'm like obsessed with how this movie exists, and I don't know if it's just because it's weird because like it has almost nothing to do with Spider-Man, but I love Spider-Man. Just everything,
Yeah.
every decision behind the movie is just like the worst decision they could have made. Like Eddie Brock is just such a terrible character. He's Tom Hardy's giving like one of the weirdest performances. Like there are at times, and I don't want to offend people, where he plays the character as if he has like Down syndrome or like Asperger's or something. Like it's just a weird performance. But like I just find it hilarious. Like when he goes into the fish tank and starts eating like the lobster, and it's just like there's so many weird decisions and just like she venom and I'm a loser on my planet, and it's just I just like have such a great time watching it. It's just so fascinating. And I love getting it. And it's really short. Like the movie goes for like 80 minutes and then it just wraps up. And then there's like 20 minutes of credits. And then a stinger for Spider-Verse. So it's an easy watch. And also that Eminem song is fantastic.
I have to admit that was a weird choice to me. I was there sitting in the theater, and the thing is like, in my planet, I'm a loser. I was like, what? What? Why would you even forward that information? So Michelle Williams is in this.
E.T. Photo and Jenny Slade,
and then she turns into Lady Venom, which is like, what? And the final scene that totally got spoiled in the trailer it's ridiculous, because the guy is like, he's gonna give the guy a chance, and then he threatens him with a clever phrase, and then he's like, you know what? Fuck it, I'll just eat your head right here. Oh, Parasite. God damn, this movie's bad.
Parasite.
Oh, and the setup for Carnage is just.
I'm so looking forward to Venom 2. Like he's gonna play Carnage, and it's directed by Andy Serkis. Like everything is going for this movie to be like the next bad thing since Venom. So I'm looking forward to it.
Dude, I'm like, did you guys got Woody Harrelson drunk or something and bring him to do this thing? And he gets that weird little hairpiece, and he's like, there'll be carnage.
It's like if Carrot Top decided that I'm done telling jokes. I'm gonna be a serial killer. Like all the bad jokes he did was driving him crazy or something.
It's pretty bad, but I mean, for the other side of the coin, Mike, why is this your favorite comic book movie?
It's not my favorite comic book movie, but I do love me some batshit crazy movies, as everyone well knows, and this fits the fucking bill. It is so fucking stupid and so batshit crazy that I enjoy it.
Fair. Next question is the most important question for Mike Hanley out of the whole thing. Spielberg movies.
I feel like the next question is the most important question. I think if we ranked Spielberg and Burton movies collectively, like from best to worst, Burton would have the top 5 worst movies, and Spielberg would have the top 5 best movies. I think Edward Scissorhands would maybe make the top 5. I have to give it to Spielberg, unfortunately. He just has like the bigger filmography, the better quality. You know, it's quality over quantity, even though they have, I think Spielberg has more films. But
he also has made more movies.
Yeah. The unfortunate thing is that I really like a lot of Tim Burton's like weirder stuff. Like Mars Attacks is fun.
Yeah, Mars Attacks is fun.
The aliens, they keep saying ack. That's great. I love that shit. The laser guns and all that. And me and Paul will be like the biggest defenders of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Like that is a fascinating, highly fascinating remake. I think I got drunk to it like back in March, and I'm sending photos to Nazaria. It's just like, this shit's amazing, man. Missy Pyle was so fucking fantastic. And all the songs are great. I love the songs. Specifically Mike TV. I think that's a great song. There's some good shit going on.
Yeah, actually, speaking of Mars Attacks, I find how fascinating that movie is about dealing with like his portrayal of government, because the guys are obviously here to fuck with you, and the fucking president and his staff are twisting so fucking hard, just like misunderstanding. Maybe that's not. Dude, the guy just came in and shot you. Like, yeah, but maybe he did.
Let's not have doves. Let's not have any doves. Let's have the audio, and then it says "We come in peace," and all that sort of shit. And then they're just constantly using it when they're killing everyone. Don't run away. We come in peace, and all that sort of shit. Then it turns out country music is what.
And the old lady like, they shoot up Congress. It was hilarious. That was great.
Here we go. Kurt Russell. Yes or no?
How is he a no? It's a fucking yes.
Yeah.
Kurt Russell,
Well,
man, like he's the only guy who can play a superhero dad in two. I repeat, two different comic book or superhero movies. You know, he plays Star Lord's dad, and then he'll play Will Stronghold's dad in Sky High. He's that versatile in his superhero films. But then you have every other film he's in, which is, I mean, you know, I'm trying to think of other films. Tequila Sunrise, Robert Towns, Tequila Sunrise. That's a movie. But I really like him in. I was watching Stargate the other day.
Yeah. Fucking Stargate.
It's like he's the only one who's like realizing that the aliens are terrible. Let's just kill everyone. Let's be serious about this. He's the only logical one. And James Bay's like, we got to study. Look at all the humans. Why are they humans? Look at this. It's like something shit's about to happen. We gotta get out of here now. He's like the only logical person. And I think that's why he's like so good in that movie. Like he's been in a lot of great movies. I mean, Overboard's not bad. I like parts of that movie. Him and Goldie Hawn have like really good chemistry. But like, Kurt Russell's the man.
fair. You didn't mention Escape from LA, Escape from New York, The Thing, or Big Trouble in Little China.
Well, because everybody talks about those movies. He's great in those movies.
Ryan Permison talked about Captain Ron.
Captain
So
Ron.
cool.
That is Ryan Permison for you.
Bruce Campbell, the legend. Yes, no, or groovy.
100% groovy.
Yeah.
He is what makes, like, because Army of Darkness on its own would be just a fun action horror movie. But then you had Bruce Campbell in it, and it's the greatest movie ever made.
Yeah.
Like, it's easing up the stats. It's like he knows what movie, and he's giving everything he can to make it like even better than it already was. Like the part where he fights himself and like he splits off. So you're goody two shoes. He just starts punching himself, and then you get the best line of
Yo, I do that.
I'm badass. And then you get the best line of the movie when he's like, "Good, bad, I'm the guy with the gun," which is such he delivers that line with so much sincerity, and it's like, this is my Oscar moment. I'm gonna deliver this line like I'm gonna get the Academy Award.
When he's burying badass, like, you have dirt on your face. He's like, what? Boom. Show up.
like he's gonna fall for that. That's good. But then he makes the Raimi trilogy with his cameos, if you will, his side characters, because you have the ring announcer, in which he's the reason that Spider-Man has his name Spider-Man, because it's gonna be the human spider, but he's like, no, that just sucks. I'm calling you Spider-Man. So he's part of why we appreciate Spider-Man on like multiple levels. And then Maitre D, he's great. He furthers the story in that sequence. He's also great. He's like such a snooty usher, if you will. Oh no, not the Maitre D. Sorry, he's the usher. Then he's the Maitre D in Spider-Man 3. And he has the greatest French accent that never existed, and it's brilliant.
It's weird because that's my favorite one. The Maitre D is my favorite one, and yet it's in the worst movie.
Yeah, you're not wrong. That's what they said. Parker. I don't know what he says, but he doesn't say Parker. It's like Pecker.
Pecker. That's pretty good.
So we like to end it off with recommend 2 movies people wouldn't expect from us.
No Haneke, no Soderbergh. That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
No Spider-Man.
That's the same for Spider-Man. Okay, so I'm just going to get rid of the Spider-Man Japanese show that existed for 2000. Okay, so I'm going to recommend. Okay, so I'm going to recommend a movie that I watched less than a month ago for the first time that I just want people to see. It is a Japanese film, a horror musical called "The Happiness of the Katakuris." It is a 2000s film or early 2000 film directed by Takashi Miike, who's like more famous for Ichi the Killer and Audition. And this is such a bizarre movie. Like I love weird movies, but this is like one of the weirdest movies I've ever seen. And I think maybe it's just like Japanese films.
I found the poster, and I totally expect this from you. But cool, keep going.
Yes, that's about it. I mean, it's a weird fucking movie, so I think people would probably expect that from me. But this film opens with a woman at a restaurant eating soup, and then realizing there's a little monster, like the monster that's on the poster, in the suit that then attaches itself to her tonsils on like her throat, and then it grows wings, and then comes out of the woman's mouth, flies away, gets picked up by a bird, gets turned into an egg, then grows out again, and then falls, and then that's where our main family is, and then that's never talked about ever again. That just sets up where the family is, and the film's about a family that have a guest house for guests to stay at, and they keep dying, and so they have no idea what's going on. And there'll be multiple occasions where they just break out into musical, and they'll just start singing and dancing. And I was just having such a fun joyride. It's like a roller coaster of emotions because you just have like no idea what's going on. I got to see this. I was seeing this with a couple of people. One of them had this on still on their VHS, and I still have a VHS player, so we just wanted to check out what they had on all of our tapes. And this one was this movie, and we just decided to watch the movie because we were hooked from like the first 5 seconds. It's just so like bizarre. So I highly recommend this movie to everyone. It is an experience you will never forget.
This is definitely a movie you can only get on VHS. I can tell that from Mike. You like this movie?
I actually have not seen this movie, but I love Ichi the Killer. I've loved his other work, so I definitely want to check this out. Because this looks right up my fucking alley. This looks right up my fucking alley.
And I guess the other movie. So I think this is definitely one that people won't expect. This isn't like a weird movie. I'm sure most people know this movie, but I just really I love this movie to a point. So I'm going with a romantic comedy from the 2000s. I'm going with 13 Going on 30.
Wow.
You would not expect that from me. I don't think.
Not at all.
Hell no.
I think this is just a really like entertaining rom-com. Like Jennifer Garner gives like a really good performance. Like she's supposed to be playing a 13-year-old, and she's like much older. So there's a lot of cool contrast and dynamics that she has with like multiple characters. There we go. In Australia, it's called Suddenly 30, which is a shit title. 13 Going on 30 is much better, a lot creative. And like Andy Serkis is her boss in the movie, and he's also really good and has a moment. Judy Greer is like the best friend, and then Mark Ruffalo, and it's just like a sweet, charming movie that I like really appreciate and love. And like her and Ruffalo have like good chemistry in the movie. So yeah, I just love that. And also, there's a Thriller dance number in the movie where they all dance to Thriller. So
Yeah.
it's a very love letter to the 80s. And also, the film ends with a Madonna song, and I love Madonna, and Crazy for You is a great Madonna song. I think it's just perfect. So yeah, I would say this is a great fucking movie.
I like this movie. Actually, I thought, like you said, I think Jennifer Garner is pretty great in it. She plays the role to a T, and the circus as the boss is pretty clever. First, like way to get people who probably wouldn't want to watch this. Like, hey, I'm the circus, interesting. I don't even remember really how it goes. I think she has like a dollhouse and there's bubbles involved, and suddenly she's 30.
There's wish dust, and she wishes to be 30. So that's the whole thing.
It's not very like concentrated on the logistics, but the execution is actually pretty good. Mike, why do you like this movie?
I enjoy this movie. This movie's fun. Like, this is one of the movies that I can put on every now and again and just go, yeah, I'll have a good time with it. It's really sweet. Mark Ruffalo is great. Andy Serkis is great. Jennifer Garner, of course, is great in it. Yeah, it's got very fun sequences in it. Great choice.
Weird. This one I didn't expect.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's Japanese Spider-Man.
Yes. Look at that.
He has a watch and he fights. He turns into Spider-Man like a fucking Power Ranger.
Is he fighting Skeletor? Like, who is that? What is that? Dr. Doom?
I don't know, but it's amazing.
Zed from Power Rangers? Like, what the fuck?
That actually is a very pretty fun show. He has like a watch. He turns into Spider-Man by morphing, like if it's a Power Ranger.
Yeah, presses it. He goes on it.
Good stuff. I think that's all we got today, Mike.
Yeah.
You have anything else you want to ask this man?
When are you going to be Jakey 8 belts? When are we going to see that?
You know, when the next belt comes up, I'm looking at the movie Battleground belt. I'm looking to get that Grand Slam belt. I know all the Star Warses and the Star Treks, and I can debate. I don't know. Whenever you put up another belt for me to win, because my ego needs to be as big as it already is. So
You know what you need to do to win that movie Battleground belt? Figure out who's gonna be your judges. Ask them what their favorite movies are, and pick those. There's no fucking losing that way. That's it, guys. Thanks, Mike, for joining us today. Thanks, Jake. His 7 belts are champion. Now you know him a little better. He hates women, but he loves movies. See you in another 6 months, guys.